I'm Chadwick.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we're talking about 5 must-dos at Zion National Park.
This is the good life. Oh, oh, oh. This is the good life.
And we are back for the 2021 camping season. Woohoo!
We're cruising right now. We are just outside of Green River, Utah. And where are we headed?
Final destination today is Zion National Park, Southwest Utah, and we're excited to just be back in the camper. It's been 5 or 6 months since we've been camping, and excited to kick it back off. What are you excited for on this trip?
I'm excited for this.
Wow. Can you tell he's been cooped up for too long? What are you excited for on this trip?
Cool rocks and stuff.
I'm excited to add another stamp in our national park passport book.
One thing I'm real excited about for this year is we have a tailgate pad for the bikes. So we can easily have all 4 of our bikes back there that hang over the tailgate and still have room for like our generator, cooler, some other buckets in the back of the truck. So the must-do number 1 is to plan ahead. We're at Watchman Campground, which is in the national park. It's right next to South Campground. Watchman is one that you can reserve, and it has 4 loops, A, B, C, D. A and B have electric. If you want electric and you're coming in the summer because you're going to be running your AC, this is where you want to be. This is site B37, and it's amazing. It's one of the biggest sites I think we've ever stayed at.
But you got to book it 6 months in advance, and you got to get on right at 6 months in advance. I don't even know how we got lucky. We got it at like 5 months out because I think someone dropped their days. But if you want to camp here, which you should, be prepared 6 months early before your trip.
What else to be prepared?
The second thing that we were not prepared for is that Zion runs on a shuttle system. Like, there is a point where cars cannot go any further into Zion National Park. You have to be on a shuttle to get up there. They've removed half of the seats on the bus, and now you have to have a ticket to even get on the bus. So they release them about a month in advance. Go on Recreation.gov. You can go on there and find out about it. But you
have the app.
Yeah. But you got to get tickets with a specified time to catch the bus. You get a 1-hour block to get on the shuttle. We didn't do that. Thankfully, there are 2 other ways you can also get shuttle tickets.
How would those be?
We would have been screwed.
Yeah, we would have.
So the 2 other ways are, one is every day, the day before at 5:00 p.m., they release another round of tickets. It's quite a few for each time slot. It's like 300 tickets per time slot that they release at 5:00 the day before. But you got to have some fast fingers on Recreation.gov and good internet service, which you do not have here inside the park. So you might need to drive down into Springdale.
So that's the catch-22. You're like in the park one day and you want to come back the next day, but you don't have tickets. You have to hurry to get out of the park so you can get closer to cell phone service to get those tickets.
At 5:00, yeah.
This is a 2021 only thing, I think. Was it worth it, Braxton?
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, things are looking up. This won't be an issue next year, but if you're coming this year, you should probably know about that. The third way you can get tickets, the line was always really long for this, is at 1:00 each day. They release tickets for that afternoon as a walk-up only, and the lines were always super duper long. So that seems like the least likely and the most pain in the butt way to do it, but it is an option.
I was gonna say, when we first got here at the visitor center and we saw that line, the kids said, "Are we at Disney World?" It's because I saw the shuttle in the long line. I was like, no, this is just what we have to do right now. So
yeah, so that's the other part of planning ahead. And then the part C of planning ahead is that if you're bringing your dog, know that you cannot take them on any trails except for one inside the park. This is true at a lot of national parks, but I think people just don't realize it. But there is one trail that's walkable or bikeable right here from the Watchman Campground and the South Campground. It's called the Parouche Trail. It's a paved trail. I think it's 3 miles long along the river, and you can take dogs and bikes on that trail. The rest of the trails you cannot take dogs or bikes on, but that one you can. So if you're coming and bringing your pet, just know that's your choice.
Yep. How's the pool?
Cold.
Today we'll be putting up a thing on the camper. I don't know.
At Christmas, I put this on my list and got gifted this 100-inch fabric screen.
Yes, we are going to play a lot of Mario.
Must-do number 2 is to check out the Emerald pools. There's a lower, middle, and upper, and you access them from the Zion Lodge or the Grotto, which are stops that are about halfway up the canyon as you drive up through the shuttle. So this is the start of Emerald Pools hike.
And we originally thought with Harrison, our little 7-year-old, that we might not make it to the upper one, and so we thought we'll do the lower and maybe the middle. But he got up to the middle one and was feeling it, and so we went all the way to the upper one. It was totally worth it. Each one's different, and frankly, they weren't that big of pools right now because there's not a lot of runoff. It's early spring, or barely spring, I guess. So they weren't anything like to write home about per se. I can imagine in the summer when there's more water, they're probably even cooler. But it was still a really neat hike. It's about, I think we did about 3 miles total, maybe a little, mile and a half up, mile and a half down-ish.
And we started at Zion Lodge, went all the way up and came back to the Grotto shuttle location. So tried to extend it a little bit.
We has hiked to Upper Emerald Pools. That is the pool.
Yeah, is it a little tiny mountain behind us?
My name's Bubba Bear, and I'm hiking Emerald Pools.
The green's soft.
It is?
Yeah.
Try.
One of the things I really loved about it is as you're going up, there are these waterfalls that are like cascading down, and there's like sunbeams that are like,
That was at the lower pool.
Jesus rays or whatever that are like coming straight at you. And you kind of get a little wet. It's not super wet right now here in March. Maybe later in the year you would be, but
and you kind of go you kind of go behind like the waterfalls. So like it's like you're going under them.
Yeah, you're like inside of a cave kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's
That was pretty cool. Yeah, they're each different and unique, for sure. But definitely worth the hike. It was a fun one.
So don't miss out on Emerald Pools.
All right, it's magic truck parking time. We have to park parallel in front of the camper, just like everyone else. So Chadwick uses his F-150 parallel park function. Look at that, magic. It sees the rocks back behind us, but we know our bumper can clear them.
Finished.
When not in use, the microwave makes a wonderful bread box.
You keep pulling bread in there? I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah, and then it makes it too when you travel, so this table's not bouncing all around and stuff. Must-do number 3 is to make sure you visit Kolob Canyons.
Absolutely.
This is a great area to go to if you didn't get shuttle tickets one day, because it's still part of Zion National Park, but it's a completely separate entrance. It's like the northwest entrance of the park. It's probably 40 minutes from here, the main entrance of the park, I would think.
Yeah.
But it's like similar, but also very different and worth it to go up.
And you drive that section, so that's not a shuttle thing. There's no tickets. You do have to pay like a park's entrance, pass fee or whatever, but if you have the America the Beautiful or like the annual pass, that's something that we invested in this year. You just show your card as you drive up and you go through. It's really incredible.
It's the same thing as if you were coming to the main part of the park and you paid your daily entrance fee to the park.
I told everyone, wear your coats. Nobody listened to me.
Hi.
We went there, it was cold that morning.
It was snowing actually up there.
It was. It's a little higher altitude than down here at Watchman Campground.
But we were determined we were going to drive to the top because it's just like a up and then you turn around and come back and it kind of ends at the top.
It's hard to tell, but it's actually snowing right now and it's sunny at the same time. Go figure.
And there's the Creek Overlook Trail there at the top and the kids are like, I'm not hiking in the snow.
Yeah, and they didn't bring coats. That was part of it. So be prepared. That goes back to, tip number 1.
But I convinced them to get out and do the hike. It's a pretty easy hike, the Timber Creek Overlook. It's about a half mile out, half mile back, not super strenuous. It was a little muddy that day, but super beautiful views, just different than the views over here in the main part of the park. So highly recommend that.
Hello, camera.
There's also way less crowds over there.
Yeah, I think that maybe is my favorite part because I'm not a huge crowd guy. So it's easy to place to, park your truck and get out, where it is over here, and especially one of the ones we'll mention at the end, you really got to get lucky with finding a spot. So
don't miss that.
Yeah.
Timber Creek Overlook Trail, or any trail, but go visit Kolob Canyons.
So the fourth thing you really got to check out here at Zion National Park is to drive the Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel. It's a mile-long tunnel that was built back in the Eisenhower times, and it has these windows, these like cutouts of the side of the mountain as you drive through. They used those to throw the rock out as they were blasting through with the dynamite, but what we get from it is there's obviously some light through there because there's no electricity, there's no lights on in there, so make sure you turn your truck lights on. But you get these incredible views of the side of the mountain, which, I mean, it's like if you're coming from the east, it's like welcome to Zion. It is so pretty.
Yep. The other thing to note about the tunnel is that it's only 13'1" high in the middle, and the sides are like 11'4" high. So you can take smaller like travel trailers and smaller campers through, probably not big fifth wheels. But when you do, you should be prepared that you're going to have lines waiting because they have to shut down the tunnel, make it one way when a camper needs to go through. So just be prepared. The car with the flashing lights means it's the last one. We learned that. So see, his blinkers are on. That means that was the last car through, and now they're gonna radio to make sure we're all clear, verify, and then they're gonna remove our little orange cone down there and let us through.
And it's like, what is it, 15 bucks or something?
Yeah, you have to get a little permit for it, and it's 15 bucks to drive through there.
But while you're up at the top of that tunnel, here's the other thing. There's a hike up there that you can't miss. We've been here 4 or 5 days now. This was my favorite hike by far.
It's called the Canyon Overlook Trail, I believe.
So today we're gonna do the Canyon Look Around Trail.
Look around.
Yeah, that's what it says. So yeah, we're doing that.
Not for the faint at heart. There's some pretty narrow areas that you walk on with some steep drop-offs.
You're super annoyed that what?
But they're running ahead on this trail that's not...
That has a cliff on the edge?
Yeah, it's a bit treacherous.
Such a mom. So even though there's little cliffs everywhere on this trail, it seems like they have a pretty good job of putting rails and fences up everywhere where you might fall to your death.
Just want to, your body naturally wants
Whoa! That is a deep little canyon down in there.
Oh yeah, it's really scary when you're not holding on the handrail.
to. I had a few moments of paranoia with the kids being like, oh my God, don't slip and fall.
It's mommy mode, holding the hands.
Mommy mode, yeah. I didn't hold anybody's hand. I just yelled.
It's a little slippery here, son. Braxton took a spill for sure.
Well, at least that wasn't in a scary area, but it's sandy, some of the rocks are slippery, but a really cool hike despite all that. Highly recommend it, really neat, different than any of the other hikes we've done in the park. And the overlook at the top when you get to the end is pretty beautiful.
Yeah, and it's not that challenging. It's like a mile, right?
Half mile up, half mile back.
Yeah, so a mile total, and like she said, the very beginning looks like it's going to be super hard and it's super steep stairs, but it evens out. You're going up and down throughout the hike, so.
Short but fast.
Yeah, short but fast.
No, it was good. It was different, much different type of hike than the other hikes we've done. So it was cool, and this view was worth it at the end.
That's the road up there to the tunnel, right? That we
Yeah.
see down
Yeah,
there?
but I'm just looking.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can see they kind of go up there, and then this all through here is the tunnel. And if you lean out there, you can see one of the windows over there.
Yeah, there's a window back there. Those are California condors, one of the rarest birds to see here. They're also the biggest bird in America.
Parking is limited up there though, so you might have to walk a ways just to get to the trailhead.
Yeah, that's the one downside. We lucked out and got a great spot, but if you go earlier in the morning, that's always going to be to your benefit because more people are coming into the park and stopping there as their first stop. So a little tip, but don't miss out on doing the tunnel and the Canyon Overlook Trail.
So I commented earlier, there was a bridge down in the main part of the park that says, like, it has the big yellow pedestrian sign for the bridge, like pedestrians might be on the bridge, but then there's a sign on the bridge that says no stopping, standing, or walking on the bridge. And I thought it was funny because it contradicted itself. And then Braxton tells us, he said, when I was really little, I used to think pedestrians meant bird, a certain type of bird. So, which is very Braxton of him. And then a few minutes later, out of nowhere, Harrison...
5 minutes later or so.
Yeah.
Harrison's back there just thinking.
Yeah, he's been quiet the whole time, which is a rarity for Harrison. But all of a sudden he goes, you know what'd be funny? Is one day, let's get a bird and name it Pedestrian. I don't know why, but that was hilarious. We were all cracking up.
Those are the kinds of things you get on family trips.
The fifth and final must-do is to hike the Narrows. Full disclosure, we didn't actually do this, but I really wish we would, and I will some other time when we come back. So the Narrows is a hike that basically goes through a river, up a canyon. You first have to hike the Riverside Walk Trail, which is about a mile up, and at the end of the Riverside Walk Trail, it ends at the river.
And it is a walk. It's like the easiest.
It's
hike
paved
that we did.
paved and easy, yeah. But you end at the river, and then you see people that just continue up the river. Now, it's cold here. You're hiking through water right now, really cold water. So recommendation, and you see most people doing it, that you can rent from some of the outfitters in town, like waders, like that you'd use when you're like fly fishing or whatever, and like dry tops, all kinds of different gear.
Dry pants and everything, yeah.
And shoes, like you can rent all that gear, and that's what you would want and need to do, probably even in the summer because the water's still really cold. But you literally like wade up through this river inside a canyon. I was watching people come down that canyon with their waders on, and it looks like there's a little path where you don't have to get super wet on one side, but there were people coming down the middle of it, and it was adults, and it was up to their waist. I can only imagine if we took Harrison in there, it'd be like up to his neck most of the time, and he'd just be swimming. And then they said, some people told us there's all these little like side slot canyons you can go into as well. It just, the pictures I've seen, what I heard from people while we were here that had done it, it looks amazing, and I would suggest doing it because I'm envious of everybody who did.
Hello. What are you guys doing?
But I'll say, like, even if you don't get the waders, make sure you do the Riverside Walk still, because like that takes you right to the part where you actually are in the water, and you still get a nice little, you know, little hike, little walk, little stroll down the old creek.
And the Riverside Walk is the last stop. It's like the very top of where the park, the shuttle goes to.
Yeah.
So it's cool to go all the way to the top of where the shuttle goes to as well and do that Riverside Walk. It is a cool hike. Good, easy, family-friendly hike. He's dying.
It's tired legs. You can make it. And it's the Temple of Sinawava, I think.
Sinawava.
Sinawava.
And what's our bonus tip? This is number 5.5 must do was the town outside of Hurricane is Laverkin, and there is a coffee shop that Chadwick found right in Laverkin that was really, really good.
So the coffee shop is called River Rock Roasting Company, and as you're driving into Zion if you're coming from the north, which a lot of people come that way, you're gonna pass right by it. It'll be on your left. It's a cool little trailer thing, right?
No, it's not. It's easy to miss. It's basically made out of 2 shipping containers.
Oh, yeah, shipping containers,
so there's
not
these
trailers.
steel, rusted-looking shipping containers that make up this coffee shop. It's drive-through only, or there's like a walk-up window, but basically drive-through only, and sits right on the corner next to the La Quinta in Laverkin. I even got I'm not a huge coffee person, I got a frozen
Breve.
white mocha breve, and it was probably the best white mocha breve I've ever had in my life. That looks like a milkshake.
Berry Express.
Berry Express.
Tropical Wave.
Tropical Wave. See, there's no pineapple in the name. This thing looks like a milkshake. It's a blended coffee, but that looks like a milkshake.
Yeah, it's a level up from Starbucks for sure. And I just had the black drip coffee, and it was excellent. So recommend the Rocky Mountain,
No, River Rock Roasting Company. We're not in the Rockies.
what she said. We'll just go with that. Hey, if you guys got something out of this video and want to learn more, make sure you subscribe. We try to make, you know, these weekend sort of travel videos as often as we can, and we're camping a lot this year. So we have a whole lot of plans. We're gonna be going out to California in June, and we're really looking forward to that. We've never been to Yosemite, so there'll be videos on that. Plus, we post a whole bunch of stuff about like learning how to RV, because we're just learning, and we figured you could learn along with us. So consider subscribing, but thanks for watching the video, and
look for more adventures coming up.
Yep, see you soon, thanks.
use the Fire Stick here.
Why?
There's no internet.